People say it happened in the quiet early morning above Newark Liberty International Airport. A co-pilot preparing for descent noticed something strange. While checking the approach coordinates, his data screen blinked once, then filled with a bizarre, unsettling message. "Don't you wish you knew what this means?" Shocked and scared, he called the captain.
Captain, I'm detecting a strange anomaly on the FMS.
The captain looked and saw the same message. There were no errors, no warnings, just that cryptic sentence across the display. They rebooted the system, reloaded the coordinates, tried everything, but the message refused to leave. Until, just as suddenly, it disappeared. The screen returned to normal. The landing was smooth, but the pilots were unsettled, and for a good reason. They filed a report and dug into the aircraft systems. No one has found any glitches. No known faults could explain it. And then another pilot, days later, saw the exact same message while flying a different plane into Newark. Some people blamed software bugs. Others suggested a monumental prank. For the crews involved, it was something different. A chilling mystery that remained unexplained. What do you think about this? What is the most plausible explanation? Share your opinion in the comments. Meanwhile, we continue. One of aviation's eeriest legends involves the ghostly aftermath of Flight 401. On December 29, 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 crashed into the Florida Everglades. It happened during a routine approach to Miami and was caused by technical glitches and human error. 101 lives were lost in that tragic accident. Trying to cut costs, Eastern Airlines took unscathed components from the wreckage and installed them in other planes in their fleet, particularly in several L-1011 TriStar aircraft. Not long after, flight crews started reporting weird things. For example, flight attendants claimed they spotted the captain of the crashed flight seated in passenger rows, looking terrifyingly real. They also reported seeing him in cockpits, sometimes seen examining instruments or quietly standing in the galley. Some crew members even believed that the captain's spirit intervened to prevent technical failures, as if he hadn't stopped protecting the aircraft. Even though Eastern Airlines seemed to dismiss such reports, they eventually removed the reused parts without any loud announcements. But even so, the haunting stories never fully went away. One night over Florida, a seasoned pilot and flight instructor experienced something he's never forgotten. He was flying an SR-20 Cirrus with a student, running a routine training session under instrument meteorological conditions. Everything was going smoothly until they approached Orlando Executive Airport at about 1,500 feet. That's when the aircraft's radio, tuned to the emergency frequency 121.5 MHz, suddenly crackled to life. A soft, chilling voice came through the static. It was a young girl whispering, "Hello? Hello?" The sound was so faint and so eerie that it froze both pilots in place. Hoping someone needed help, the instructor replied, but got nothing back. Just silence. It wasn't until later that night that the story came together. It turned out there was no mystery about it, just tragedy. A young female student pilot had reportedly stolen a small plane from a nearby flight school. Flying alone, untrained, and scared, she'd tried to reach out over the emergency channel, but no one had understood. But her ghostly call for help was very real. She crashed later that night. No happy ending. One early evening over Scotland's Highlands, a flight instructor was on a final approach for his last run of the day. He was piloting a Cessna 172, flying low over uneven terrain. He flew with full flaps deployed, holding steady at minimum approach speed. Turbulent winds, near 20 knots, which is around 23 miles per hour, battered the aircraft. So the pilots braced for a rough landing. And then suddenly, everything went silent. The wind disappeared. Without the headwind, the plane lost its lift. The controls went limp in the pilot's hands, like a game controller that was no longer connected. For a second, the aircraft seemed suspended in the air, It was completely unresponsive. The pilot shoved the throttle forward and dipped the nose, which forced the plane back into motion. Moments later, it touched down safely. Later, meteorologists explained that it could have been a rare microburst, a rapid downdraft of air that erases lift in an instant. But strange things happen not only in the air. Airports can be pretty creepy too. Finished in the mid-1990s, Denver International Airport became known not just for its size. It was one of the largest airports in the world by area for its strange aura. Its white, peaked roofs, designed to mimic the snow-covered Rocky Mountains, created a silhouette on the Colorado plains. But the project behind this awesome design had billions of dollars in budget overruns, as well as unexplained construction delays. Soon, whispers began. People were talking about hidden underground bunkers beneath the airport, allegedly spanning multiple levels and built far out of sight from the daily rush of passengers. But that was only the beginning. Inside the airport's decor was just as impressive and mysterious. Creepy gargoyles in the corners, murals depicting apocalyptic chaos, inscriptions in long-forgotten native languages. Such bizarre choices led to the appearance of numerous theories ranging from quite plausible to absolutely insane. And rather than deny it all, Denver International embraced its bizarre reputation. Today, the airport even runs conspiracy-themed tours, which proves one fact: DEN is unlike any airport in the world. But let's get back to the skies. The Saab 340 was a 34-seat turboprop, unusual in one key way. It ran on GE helicopter engines, the same ones used in Black Hawks. These engines had a quirk. During cold, slushy weather just below freezing, they could suddenly roll back. For a second, they'd shut down with a loud bang and flash, lighting up the cockpit and kicking the plane, only to restart instantly. Quite alarming, but common. Then storms brought more strange phenomena. Ice could block the radar, and static danced across the windshield, looking like a living plasma globe. Once, something even stranger happened. Flying at night, 10 minutes from landing after dodging storms for hours, the aircraft entered one last cloud. Suddenly, the nose lit up, and it wasn't lightning. It was a deep magenta light. It glowed like a spotlight, cutting through the cloud in front of them. For a few seconds, the entire cloud was bathed in color. Then it vanished. Specialists said it could have been a rare case of St. Elmo's fire, a weather phenomenon where a bright violet or blue light appears on pointed objects, like aircraft wings or lightning rods during a thunderstorm. And here's a bonus for you. Look at this. An enormous, impossible monster, isn't it? An Aussie pilot saw it from the sky. A giant snake shape was moving under the water in a lake. Before you start blaming extraterrestrial civilizations, hear me out. It wasn't a real snake, even though it looked like one. The shape was created by a bunch of pelicans chasing fish. They were traveling all together in a long line. The pilot took a photo during a special flight when the pelicans first arrived at the lake. This lake is called Katitanda Lake Eyre, and it's in the middle of South Australia, which is a very dry place. Most of the time, it's just a big, salty, flat area with no water. But when rivers bring enough water, the lake fills up and turns into the biggest lake in Australia. Birds and animals come from everywhere to visit. Right now, the lake is filling up for only the fourth time in 160 years. This happened because it rained a lot across 3 big rivers that feed the lake, which is something that doesn't happen often. People call it a dry flood because it didn't rain near the lake itself, just far away, but the water has been traveling a long way through the desert. It's a very rare and special thing to see. Only people who take special flights get to watch it from above. The water makes plants grow and attracts hundreds of birds.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.